In a world where beloved intellectual properties are forced to be alone and kept separate from one another against their will, two men intend to break them free of this oppressive regime and bring these franchises together through the medium of crossover fanfiction. This is Crossover Quest!
Hello and welcome to Crossover Quest. I'm Ali.
And I'm William.
And this week we're crossing over the very popular franchises Doom and Dirty Dancing.
So Dirty Dancing and Doom. Doom and Dirty Dancing. Those are the ones we're doing this week. So, what do they mean to you? I guess is what this bit is.
Well, I'll tell you which one I like the most.
I think it's probably Doom.
Yeah, it's Doom.
Alright, okay, that makes sense.
Which one do you like the most?
Full disclosure, I prefer Dirty Dancing, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, what do you like about Doom? What do you know about Doom?
I remember playing it back when it was popular, height of popularity. Doom 2 and on the PC.
PC, yeah.
Back before Doom 95 even.
Yep, I played a wee bit then.
Wasn't a big PC game or anything, just got to play at friends' houses. It was in all the mainstream media. Violent
game.
Monsters. Violent monsters.
Fondly remembered as one of the first 3D shooters, even though everyone says Wolfenstein and even more hardcore people say, no, it was this. And then you go back to like 1977 and some guys created like an early first-person shooter on a fucking heart monitor or some shit. But that's not the point. The only time I really played Doom actually was like on the Xbox 360 with you multiplayer for like a night, and I was
going to say that's recent, but it wasn't. It was like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't played it since.
In the terms of Doom's, the amount of time Doom has been on this earth, that's not a very long time ago.
And I played the third one a little bit.
You must have played Doom back in...
Yeah, a shot of it. So Doom is basically about space marines on Mars, and they open a portal to hell, essentially.
Yeah, I think so. And then there's like demons and...
loads of scary demons and...
But it's like that cool kind of 80s heavy metal demons... hell, all that stuff. Cool.
The music, and then it goes up a key, you know. It's brilliant, man.
Doom is very cool.
Oh yeah, the music is so good. I can remember sort of sliding along. He's on a skateboard, yeah, and the guy in Doom. He's on a skateboard. I'm pretty sure he's on a skateboard. Skateboard didn't go upstairs. It went upstairs this game too, which I don't think Wolfenstein or that heart monitor.
No. It wasn't 3D like Quake though. It had 2D sprites and stuff, and everything was 2D. It was all just parallax or something. I don't know how that works, but it was all just.
Parallax. Looked amazing. And there was God mode that made you invincible.
Yeah, I think that's like
spoiler alert
for the course. That's for
my story later, probably.
Alright.
Now that I just thought of God mode, it sounds cool. So yeah, that's the first one. That's Doom, and then we have Dirty Dancing, equally popular, different medium. Obviously, it's a movie.
Is it equally popular? I think Doom might be like more seminal.
I don't know. I think if we do a study of 100 women aged between 35 and 50 and ask them which they prefer, I think the results would speak for themselves. Yeah, especially if we give them all cheeses and wine and make them stay overnight in a hotel together, so they all become friends and it's like a hive mentality. And then at the end, the really nice lady asks them, "So what did you think of our product that we're trying to sell to you?" They'll all give her a really positive response. That's what I think we're going to have. I love Dirty Dancing. You know I do. It's not my favourite film. It's one of my favourite films, but there's it's not because it's an abortion scene, but things get a bit too real for me at one point in the game. I want to go back to in the film. Sorry, I want to go back to like when he's nearly dropping watermelons. That's when it's at its best. But the soundtrack is my favourite album, and I have said this before. You know that's true.
Yeah,
it's my favourite album in the world. I love it. It's the perfect compilation album. The songs are from different eras. It's amazing. I love it, and I love the movie, and I love all the characters in it. I love Patrick Swayze, and I love Jennifer Grey before she got a nose job, and you know. There's tragic backstories of half the characters on the film. It's awesome. What do you think of it?
It's alright. It's a decent enough movie.
Yeah.
I'm not like super into it. I remember from when I was a kid a lot. It was on a lot when I was a kid. It was on after our Robin Hood taped off TV video, and then it was Dirty Dancing right after. Was that Marathon advert? Snickers advert in the middle? When it was still Marathon? The guy jumping on his hat?
This is a film our mum knew.
Again, yeah.
She really knew this film. She liked it.
Yeah.
And you know the soundtrack pretty well because you drive around in my car sometimes with me, so... You probably hear it quite a lot.
That's your driving tunes right there.
Yeah, that's one, and that's one of my albums I play in the car a lot. I love it.
Dirty Dancing.
But it is a good film. It is uplifting, even if you're not into that sort of thing. It's not a musical, but it feels like a musical, and it's quite romantic and stuff, and a bit weird and soppy. But towards the end, when she gets up on stage and he lifts her over his head, come on, it's brilliant stuff.
Would it be better if it featured Ted Danson and was called Dirty Dancing?
I think that Adult Swim have something very similar to, like that, an animated show.
What about if it was Footloose?
I'm not so keen on Footloose.
Me neither. I don't know.
It's too dark. I mean, I know there's no abortion scene, but it's darker than Dirty Dancing.
It's like the Burger King of those dancing things. And I don't mean that badly. I prefer Burger King to McDonald's. I just mean the public perception is that Burger King is lesser. Good. Yeah, people think it's like a kind of knockoff one. It's the GoBots.
No, Dirty Dancing's the best one. It's definitely the best.
What about Flashdance?
No, I don't even think I've ever seen that. I've seen the music video. And Dirty Dancing is way beyond.
So you're just like a Dirty Dancing fundamentalist.
It's not a dancing film. It didn't spawn any dancing.
Was there like big rivalries between people who like these films, like fans of each franchise?
I think that might be what was originally bubbling over with the Montagues and the Capulets going back.
That was about Dirty Dancing and Footloose.
Yeah. Obviously they're both. No, it wasn't. It was about Footloose and Flashdance. Yeah.
What about Dirty Dancing?
Hadn't been made yet.
Alright.
The films are made in a weird way in my mind. They're made in a weird way in my mind.
What was Time Cop?
It was alright. It was alright, yeah. Time Cop was alright. I think most people remember Time Cop fondly.
I think I like Time Cop.
Fondly.
So, shall we move on to the stories?
Courtney Cox in it or something. I just always
think, Cox?
Yeah, she was in He-Man or something, but I always think she was in Time Cop, but she probably wasn't.
She was in He-Man?
Yeah, I know she was. Yep, okay, so let's do the stories.
Okay, you ready for my story?
I am ready for this.
It's about Dirty Dancing and Doom, and I've just called it Dirty Dancing and Doom. I might start giving these titles, but I don't know if there's much point.
It tells me all I need to know at this point.
I suppose, yeah. Everything's covered. It covers all the bases. The warming rays of the synthetic sun beat down on Mars-based Z005 holiday resort. It was the summer of 2263, although technically they had been enjoying summer on Mars' largest moon Phobos since 2220, as the synthetic sun they bought was stuck on summer mode. Holidaymakers made their way to Mars-based Z005 each year to enjoy the various activities available. You could play old people games like Laser Bridge, Lightspeed Solitaire, or Thermal Disruptor Mahjong. You could take in the spa that advertised real space tentacle rubs and cucumber eyes. Or you could take one of Johnny Castle's patented real-deal sexy-ass dance classes.
You know what I love about this? Hard science, man. You've gone hard science all the way. This is hard sci-fi.
Hard sci-fi.
I am really into this now because I'm learning all these little words you're saying and the fancy words. And
I'm glad because there's like a lot of jargon later on.
Yeah, I love this hard sci-fi jargon, man. But I'll be taking notes and making sure all this pans out scientifically at the end. It has to be.
All the way on the other side of Phobos, baby Pod Person was going about her work. You get the wee joke there, she's called Pod Person, because I figured out from reading Wikipedia that she's called Baby Houseman. And I figured, hey, a future version of Houseman might be Pod Person.
Oh, got ya.
But she was going about work. A shadow crept over her.
You could also have a guy say to a guy, credit for your thoughts.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Has that ever been in anything?
We're patenting it right now.
That's
right, use that, yeah.
Property of Crossover Quest. That's fucking good.
That's good, man.
It's gold, man. A shadow crept over her.
Credits from heaven. Sorry. I'm done.
A shadow crept over her. She looked up to see a shuttle of holidaymakers making its way to the landing quadrant of Mars-based Z005. She wiped the sweat from her brow and leaned on her pickaxe. Man, I'd sure like to go to Z005, even for just a day, she said to Blasty, her pet robo-parrot. But I'm stuck here, mining for moon crystals as usual. She continued on with her mining duties. The synthetic sun switched to sleep mode, giving baby her cue to clock off. She headed back to her sleep pod, a paltry 3 moon crystals in her space satchel. She fell asleep as soon as her head hit the Pillow Industries sleep orb.
I'm laughing at space satchel.
In what felt like mere moments, baby was awoken by the UAC alarm clock system autodroid, and it was time to go back to work. That's pretty much all the jargon out of the way now, just in case you're wondering.
And that's alright, I'm compiling notes out.
As she shuffled back to the minefield, the field in which they mine for moon crystals, not an actual minefield, she saw another shuttle making its way to the holiday resort. That's it, she snapped. I'm not going to mine one single more moon crystal. I hate them. I'm going to sneak into Mars-based Z005 and have a fucking holiday for once. But I'll have to find a way through the minefield. Okay, that time she meant an actual minefield. Deep underground Phobos, in the UAC Mega Lab, trouble was brewing. They had been working on a super top secret teleportation experiment, but their portalizer, which lay at the far side of the hangar, kinda like Stargate, but with a squarer, more scaffoldy portal, it was going haywire. A panicked scientist ran up to the commander of science.
I was actually going to ask you a minute ago, why do you call her baby? I totally forgot. Okay.
Sir, the portalizer has insufficient power. She may malfunction, he said. The fuck why? The commander of science demanded.
You should have had. You struggled to say. I don't know if you're going to cut this out, but at least had like 4 attempts at that bit.
The fuck why? The commander of science demanded. We're short free moon crystals. May God have mercy on our souls, he said as the portalizer exploded and sparked, exactly like a WCW entrance, except instead of Sean Stasiak coming out...
Shut up!
Except instead of Sean Stasiak coming out, loads of manky demons came down the ramp. One cut a pretty decent promo, but other than that they just killed everyone. Johnny strutted down Main Street, making sure to emphasise his sexy ass with each step. All the older ladies holidaying at Mars Base Z005 gave him looks that they worried would make their husbands jealous if they saw, and Johnny gave the same looks back. He was heading to Rec Room 7 for his 3 o'clock class, teaching the oldies the Plutonian Rumba, which is much like the Rumba of 21st century Earth, except there was a short period of time in which it was disputed whether it was a legitimate dance or not, but recent surveys have shown that 100% of people don't give a shit and stop asking me so many damn questions. Johnny was just going through the motions. Left foot here, right foot there, pelvis thrust, middle finger, spin, etc. Man, I'm just going through the motions here. Left foot here, right foot there, pelvis thrust, middle finger, spin, etc. He thought to himself as he watched the ladies try. I never thought I could get bored of dancing, my one and only passion. But here we are. It was 45 minutes into the hour-long class that Baby burst through the saloon doors, a stylistic choice and in no way indicative of 23rd century door fashion. She was still all dirty and smelt pretty shitty. I want to learn to dance, she spat frantically, or go get some cucumber eyes done, I'm not sure which. Then she fainted. Baby awoke in an unfamiliar room, filled with guns. There were guns all up the walls, and there must have been at least 7 fully stocked gun racks. She looked around, a little scared, and pulled the covers from off of her. The bed was also made of guns, and she just counted an 8th gun rack. Where the hell am I? She asked. You fainted, so I put you in my bed, replied Johnny, wearing just a towel. Baby noticed his tattoos. They were of guns. What's with all the guns? Asked Baby. Guns are my one and only passion, he answered. I'll never get bored of them. Baby paused. I better get going. This is the first holiday I've ever had, and I want to get as much out of it as I can before the UAC soldiers come for me. What do you want to get out of your holiday? Asked Johnny, completely skipping over the part about the soldiers as his holiday resort training kicked in. I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea what a holiday actually is. I just read cucumber eyes and dancing on a sign. I don't know what they are, though. You don't know what dancing is? Johnny was shocked. Insulted even. It made him feel a bit sick when people were ignorant to the concept of dancing. It's why he hates newborn babies so much. Dancing is my one and only passion. However, I've become quite bored of it of late. Johnny hung his head. Baby could tell he was sad. She reached out and gingerly touched his arm, trying not to touch any of his gun tattoos, but it wasn't possible. Motherfucker was covered in the things. Teach me, she said as she stared into his big sexy man eyes. Johnny stared back. The two danced all night. There was a bit where they were crawling on the floor towards each other, all sexy-like, a bit where he was stroking her arm but she was ticklish, and a very famous bit where they were practicing in a river, but this was just a ploy by Johnny to get Baby in the water, because she still hadn't washed, and he was starting to think it was odd she hadn't even asked to take a shower. I mean, there was one in his room. It was made of guns. They frolicked and had tickle fights, and probably boned too, until the sun was setting. Hand in hand, they made their way back to Johnny's room to definitely bone. Main Street was eerily quiet. Where is everyone? Asked Baby. All the old folks go to bed super early, Johnny replied casually. What about all these old people mangled corpses that are lying around? Johnny freaked the fuck out. Holy shit, what the hell happened here? Why didn't you point this out sooner? I'm sorry, but I already explained I didn't know what a holiday was, said Baby defensively. You thought the torn up old carcasses of pensioners was part of this holiday. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but I wasn't raised not mining moon crystals like you. I didn't have the opportunity to learn whether or not dead bodies were to be expected on holiday. Johnny was furious, mostly at himself though, for falling for a girl who had turned out to be dumb as fuck. Also, the whole bathing thing seemed even more fucked up now. He was about to storm off in a mood, but a demonic zombie-type guy burst out from a nearby door and ran towards him. It punched Baby right in the face, and then slashed at Johnny with his rank claw. Baby fell to the ground, skinning her knee, while Johnny avoided the claw, but got a knee to the ball instead.
Ball.
The creature made its way over to Baby, who had been entirely incapacitated by her skinned knee. It licked its bloody, scabby old lips. Baby started screaming as the dirty old demon got real close, inches from her face. It went to lick her. Johnny straight up karate kicked the demon in the back of the head, and it 100% died. "We need to get out of here," yelled Johnny as he grabbed Baby's hand and helped her up. "I don't want to sound like an idiot, but..." "No, this isn't part of the holiday," said Johnny. They had boarded themselves into Rec Room 7 and were watching the demonic rampage through the window. It looked like everyone in the resort had been killed. "There's no way out of this, is there?" asked Baby as she watched the giant red floating single-eyed demon messily eating one of the dead bodies. "I'm sorry your holiday sucked," said Johnny. "Nah, it's cool," Baby replied. "I got to meet you after all." They stared tenderly at each other for a good minute, boned, and then continued staring at each other. They were interrupted by thumping at the door. "Shit, they must have found us," barked Johnny. "Oh, were we supposed to be hiding? I've been flipping off demons through the windows for hours," said Baby, embarrassed. The saloon doors burst open and a floaty red bastard waltzed in. "It's one of those hungry eyes," warned Johnny. He grabbed Baby by the wrists and pulled her from harm's way, but Baby managed to use her small amount of dance practice to spin around and kick the demon square in the eyeball. It flew back 50 feet and exploded. Johnny and Baby looked at each other as they came to a realization. They could use dancing to defeat the demons, and that's just what they did. They were pulling off crazy-ass dance moves, wrecking demonic scum left, right, middle finger and pelvis thrust. They must have killed 800 of the demons before they became overwhelmed. They had them completely cornered. "Nobody puts Baby in the corner," yelled Johnny as he leapt into the demonic horde. Everything went into slow motion as Johnny was dance fighting as majestically as can be dance fought. Baby screamed, still in slow motion. All the demons were suddenly torn up by machine gun fire and UAC soldiers ran in. "The enemy has been neutralized," said one into a walkie-talkie. Johnny, covered in stinky old demon blood, ran to Baby and hugged fuck out of her. "We made it, thank God." Johnny had come to the realization that although Baby may have been the dumbest girl he'd ever met, and her personal hygiene left a lot to be desired, he loved her. "I want to spend the rest of my life with you," he continued, before one of the UAC soldiers cuffed her. "What are you doing?" This girl failed to deposit her quota of free moon crystals, which led to the demons coming out of the portalizer. Then she deactivated the minefield and didn't switch it back on, which let the demons come here and kill everyone, and her pet robo-parrot Blasty has been running a human trafficking ring for the last 10 years, said the soldier, and Baby was led away, never to be seen again. Johnny stood there stunned. "Ah, for fuck's sake, I should have used some of my guns to kill all the demons." The end.
Baby was seen again. Years later, nose job, appearing in films.
That's why no one saw her again, nose job. So have you prepared a story this week?
Boom! Yes, of course I have. Same as you, yeah. Written in advance, ready to read off the page.
You got pages to read from?
It's a podcast, what's the point? We've got the webcam here, so... I mean, oh no, obviously I do, yeah, to read from, yeah.
Where are they?
I have them. I'm not reading it right now. So yeah, I've got a story prepared. Don't know why it looks so skeptical, Ali.
You want to read me this story?
Alright. Okay. So my story is set on Space Station 222, right?
Okay.
Okay. Which is in Mars' orbit. It's not, just as a side note, it's not orbiting any fancy moons that Ali just made up. It's orbiting Mars. It's not thinking man sci-fi.
Again, that's in your story. You've written fancy moons that Ali made up.
I knew you were going to do.
It is also the actual moon on Mars and the one Doom is based on.
Alright, that Ali googled then. So
yeah, I know. I didn't know it off the top of my head.
I didn't have to Google Mars. I already knew about Mars. Right. You had to learn about something to do that. I'm going by the knowledge I already have, and you'll be quite surprised. So, Space Station 222 is the 22nd space station of the second breed of space stations. They made a bunch a while ago. They made 94 of them, and they all became obsolete and a bit shit. So they now made new ones, and this is number 22. This is the best one so far. 23 is being built, but it's mostly for like domiciliary stuff, and it's not for anything exciting. It's where they keep all their air fresheners, toilet papers, bin bags, because space station needs that stuff. So basically, there's this guy. He's called Jose, and Jose Space Cadet. Jose Space Cadet is not, sadly, a space cadet. He comes from a small colony on Mars 2, which was discovered by his own family a long time ago. Sadly, it's a pretty shitty place. It's not much use. It's so shitty. It's not like another planet Mars. No, it's a shitty barren piece of land on Mars, and they call it Mars 2. They've got no imagination. So he thought he'd join the Space Marine Corps, but could only get a job as a space cadet because of his asthma. Right, he's got asthma, which is bad because they mine lime and asbestos on his planet of birth, so it's not good for him. So he is on Space Station 222 delivering bin bags, toilet rolls, tampons, which I can say, can't I? I can say tampons. Right? He's delivering tampons.
And again, you wrote that down, or is that you?
No, that was just me, Ali.
Right, okay.
I wrote it down not thinking about the consequences of my words. I'm sorry, it's the artist's right. I can talk about tampons. It's mostly tampons he's delivering, to be fair. It's mostly tampons. I mean, it's just a delivery of tampons, but they were short on the toilet rolls last time, so he stuck some toilet rolls on there. And he took some bin bags because he's thinking to himself, you know what? I'm going to think outside the box here. They're always short on bin bags. Every time I get there, they go, "Do you bring more bin bags?" And I'm like, "No, you didn't order them. You guys didn't order the bin bags. Every time you want more bin bags, order them." This time I'm going to bring them. I'm going to bring them, And if they don't need bins like emptied or anything, then they can dress up like Batman or something if that's what they want to do. Apparently they all like Batman. It's weird. So he gets there and he's delivering the stuff, and as he gets there, there's an alarm that goes off. It's like wee 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 wee. And I've written that way more times than just that, but you get the picture, don't you? So he arrives with his delivery of tampons, like 16 rolls of toilet paper, and just a wad of bin bags. He didn't take his whole box. He just put his hand in to dig a deep wad out. It should be at least 40 bin bags, plenty to keep the West Sector running, at least in bin bags. And like I said, bin bags can be used for loads of stuff. So he got there, and there was this wee, it was really noisy, and he was panicking whilst also remembering a really cruel joke that one of the actual space cadets that walked past goes, "Oh my god, dude, you're the guy that's actually called Space Cadet. Why aren't you a space cadet, dude?" And he goes, "Oh, because I failed the exams because of my asthma." And they went, "Oh god, asthma weak. I bet your whole family has asthma." And they walked away, and he just thought, well, they might have, but it doesn't really insult me more. But yeah, thanks. He was quite upset by that though, because he's kind of well known for having a stupid name. It is just a colloquial name. It's nothing. No one changed it to Space Cadets. They wanted to be Space Cadets. It literally is the Space Cadet family been around for longer than Space Cadets themselves, and that's got to be a long time. Well, since before space travel. So we didn't have Space Cadets. They only existed in fiction before then. So the Wii U, and he's really panicking. But anyway, he sees a dead soldier, and he thinks, right, dead soldier. I'll pick up the gun. I'll dress up like a Space Cadet. This could be my moment to save time. At the very second, a portal appears right above his head, and 3 watermelons fall out and bang him on the head. Big problem for him because of his exposure to lime and asbestos in his early years, which contributed to his crippling asthma. It also curiously made him very allergic to watermelon. The watermelons were ripe and they broke up instantly, but some of the juice went in his mouth. He died very, very quickly, and that was it. He died. People were very confused and surprised because there was no dead soldier to begin with. I mean, he was suffering the hallucinations of the effects from the watermelon before it even hit him. It's that potent, man. It's so allergic. I mean, just like fate brought the allergy to him. He was doomed by fate before the watermelons. People were so surprised at his horrific death. I mean, he turned purple and pus poured out of like just one eye, really bad, like a river of pus out of one eye. The rest of him was like fine. People were so concerned they didn't even stop for a second to think where the watermelons came from. But one guy did. The one guy went, "Oh, you know what? That is curious, but as long as it's just watermelons, I mean, once, maybe twice. I mean, I like watermelon, but I mean, this allergy, who else has it? It's dangerous." So they were concerned, but there wasn't.
Did many more people have it?
Well, nobody knows. No one knew that the watermelons necessarily killed him. Something killed him horribly, very quickly, and watermelons were a part of it. So there's a whole clep of them now, a whole gunja guys, a whole clep. These are Mars terms. I did some research and known in large Mars lore and stuff. So the clep, as they are known in Mars, stormed the storm doors. They're these storm doors that keep out the storms. Storms are actually this race of Martian insect that look exactly like tiny gummy bears, but with erections. It's very unpleasant. But they're not tiny either. They're quite big. But they are made of gummies, so you can kill them. You can't eat them; they're poisonous. But they look delicious. So many Martian children have died
eating stuff that you don't recognise.
So many children have been told not to eat them, but children always find them and go, "It must just be the erection they don't want me to eat," because that's kind of weird and unpleasant. So they eat the rest of it and they die. Lots of Martian children die. These delicious looking, but they're actually called storms. Yeah, because the storm doors. Yeah, so they storm the storm doors. They're like, let us in. Because not much is happening out here, but we reckon the action is in there. It's like, oh no, it's those storms. They're like replicating human voices now. We're not letting you in. But then they said, no, it is storms. Storms are coming. Let us in quickly. So they open the door quickly, let all the humans in. The whole clip. They join up with 2 other kleps and become a clap. We've got this clap of Martians and humans. Martians are just humans that are naturalized on Mars. And they're like, what's going on? It's like nothing much, but like a bunch of people dressed 60s are dancing. Old people are dancing over there. And they look and they see them and like they don't go near them. It's like, no, we're scared. They might be allergic or something. It's like, did you hear about the guy with the watermelon? And they're like, no, but just old people. We don't have them here on Mars. Don't have old people on Mars. That's DLC. No, that's DLC. You have to pay more for that. So then, yeah, there's no old people on Mars. So there's all these old people dancing. And then on the other side of the room, you see like Johnny Castle and Baby, and they do the big dance. And it's like, oh no, the movie's almost ending. We've only just started the story. If that happens there, and they're happening, let's go to like the cantina. Yes, they go to the cantina, which is what canteens are called in space. Everybody knows that. Sadly, this is not a canteen. This is just like a nickname they've given to like their. It's like a love dungeon, but it's not for love. No love in there. But it's like a sex dungeon, I guess. They call it the love dungeon. They call it the cantina, but it's actually a love dungeon. But nobody uses a love dungeon, really. Let's be honest. There's nothing to love about it. Apart from the fact they have actual gummy worms there, the gummy bears there for the kids to eat, which is good. But it is partly responsible because the fact that the ones they serve in Mars are larger and have big erections for some reason. So the kids are really confused about what they can and can't eat. They should just not have gummy bears there at all, if you ask me. So they go to this room, and lo and behold, there's a scene where like this guy with a rusty knife is doing an abortion on this lady on the stage, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is horrible! This is not the bit we want to see." I should go back and digress that everyone on Mars is a huge fan of Dirty Dancing, so they know exactly what's happening straight away.
Dirty Dancing exists as a movie in this.
Oh yeah,
in Doom. Is this Doom, or is it just the future?
Well, I'm getting to that, right? So these portals are opening and scenes from Dirty Dancing are happening, and nobody knows why the portals are happening. So they turn to the scientist, and the scientist goes, "Yes, I'm here. I've been here most of the time, taking notes, running little experiments on my handy pad computer." They're like, "Handy pad, dude? Seriously?" He's like, "No, it's a good name. It's what it's called." It's like, no one calls it that. It's an iPad. Yeah, we just call it an iPad. It's like, well, it's more than an iPad. It's more modern than an iPad. It's handy pad. It's very handy. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, it's handy. So what we discovered, he goes, well, these portals are actually to hell, and it's because the girl outside didn't bring in the crystals and the shit, we couldn't open the portal to hell. And he's like, is that what happened? Is that what actually happened? He's like, yeah. A lazy girl, didn't put the crystals, and she didn't turn on the...
That's in your story? You've written that down?
Yeah, no, it's coincidence. And she didn't turn on the security, and the Minecraft didn't work, and no one could play Minecraft for like weeks, and it was really, and everyone got really annoyed. Minecraft massive in Mars, because Mars is mostly a mining planet. It's always a mining planet. I was going to make it like a fairground planet or something, but couldn't be bothered. So mining planet.
Mining planet in Doom.
They're mining crystals to stop the portals to hell opening. That's the whole point. So they discover something terrible has happened, that the cast and everyone from Dirty Dancing, they all played a really horrible practical joke on some random hobo the night they wrapped shooting of that movie, right? He was a random hobo. They all danced around him for like 47 days without stopping, and he died. They all took some mushrooms, the whole cast danced around for 47 days. The guy couldn't get out to eat or sleep or anything, he just died. So when they all died, this is thousands of years ago. Years later they died. Patrick Swayze died first, I guess. Oh no, the old guy from Law and Order died first, but then they all died eventually. You know, Jennifer Grey lived the longest; she was 110 when she died. But she got her original nose back in hell as well, which really annoyed her. And they were all forced to relive the scenes of Dirty Dancing over and over again, forever and ever and ever. And obviously, they liked the movie, but they didn't like it going on forever and ever and ever. That was just like hell for them. So the scientist is like, it's cool, it's easy. I'll just press escape, and he did. And the portal opened, and all the cast from Dirty Dancing came onto the spaceship. And like, oh, good, we're free. We don't have to do that anymore. Thank you for saving us, even though we're ghosts or whatever. And you know. And the scientist goes, yeah, that is tricky, I suppose. You guys died ages ago. Why are you still here? I'm not saying you shouldn't. You guys probably should be in hell for being bad. He's like, yeah, but we've been down there for ages, man. We've punished. Yeah, but the hobo, dude, that was bad. Patrick Swayze was like, wasn't even my idea. It was the fucking the other guy, the bad one, the one that, you know, the bad dude one. And the guy that carried the watermelons because he wanted a bigger part of the movie, and he'd been a dick about it, and he picked on the poor hobo. It's like, yeah, the hobo actually played the abortionist in the movie, but they cut that scene out, so he didn't get paid, and that was the last chance of a meal and stuff. That you know, he was really relying on that. So we just thought, fuck it, take it out on him. And everyone in Mars said, you know what, you guys are dicks, but we haven't got the technology And then turn to scientists and go, have we got technology? He goes, I don't know what you're going to say, but no, for the sake of this ending the story quickly, we don't have a technology. Well, we can't send you back to hell or heaven. We can't kill you again, so we're going to keep you in our sex dungeon. We're going to change it into the Dirty Dancing theme room, and you're going to do Dirty Dancing forever and ever and ever for the rest of your days. Like, no, you can't make us do that. It's like, yeah, and you're going to have to do Roadhouse sometimes. The end. It's a pretty good ending. They got their comeuppance.
You have to do Roadhouse sometimes.
Yeah, I would make him do Roadhouse sometimes. If you had Patrick Swayze's soul in your sex dungeon, what would you do to him? Make him do Roadhouse.
As a break from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, they don't have this sort of, I guess the supernatural power of the devil to actually compel them to do stuff. But it's like they'd literally be phoning it in, like, oh, no one but baby in the corner, and that'll be a guy be like, fuck off, Swayze.
So when it was in hell, was it really good?
Well, they were just compelled to do it, so yeah, forever and ever. They were screaming on the inside.
Oh,
so they were totally in character when they arrived, and even if you're a big fan of that movie, which did exist, this is based on the real characters. It kind of breaks many dimensions.
So what's the moral of your story?
Oh, well, definitely the treatment of hobos. I mean, yeah, crime doesn't pay, you will get punished somehow.
It's pretty on the nose this week compared to last week. Last week you had pretty hidden.
It's a bit like a Twilight Zone though, there was punishment beyond punishment.
Oh yeah, because then it's like a big kind of like, we're free, but then it's worse because now you're not compelled to do it. But then are they going to get bored of it and just be fine in a wee while? Are they ghosts?
They might make friends with them.
And just be like, actually we're sick of Dirty Dancing now, just do Roadhouse.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for Jose.
Yeah, the unsung hero of the story.
It was really happening for him for a while.
Yeah. Maybe you're trying to say don't try and live above your station.
No, but if you have asthma and you live in a planet made of, or a place that's just lime and
it's not his fault, is it?
No, but you should definitely leave there.
How easy is it to leave Mars?
I don't know.
It's your story, man. It's easy as you want.
Yeah,
you can win every argument here.
Get the Mars bus to Glasgow or something. I don't know. I have no idea because I think Mars is so far in the future, and I don't know. I can't explain in the lore anymore. You have to get the DLC.
But yeah, I felt sorry for Jose.
Yeah, he had a horrible end. Tough life and a horrible end, and then the story began. Poor Jose. Yeah, but it was a different take to yours. Obviously, you had the kind of doom atmosphere with Dirty. No, you had kind of just had the doom atmosphere where Dirty Dancing was a thing that happened within it. Yeah. Whereas I had the Dirty Dancing being the portal.
Like a proper crossover, my own, and then yours was.
Well, mine was a crossover. Mine was more interesting. I used real life stuff and.
What real life stuff?
Real characters. I used real people. Patrick Swayze was a character in my thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They played themselves. If you were to film mine, well, you couldn't now, unless you could. They could get Patrick Swayze's actual Ghosts agent on the line.
Patrick Swayze was in Ghosts.
He was, and I actually miss him. And obviously, "Time of Your Life," that song, sung by a guy, one of the Righteous Brothers, who also sang that song in Ghost that they do. I really, really love Dirty Dancing though.
Okay, that's our stories this week.
That's us done, I guess.
For this week.
Yeah, that was fun though.
I enjoyed your story.
I enjoyed your story.
At first I was sceptical that you had written it.
I was sceptical that I'd written it. That you'd written it, no.
Because last week I was pretty sure you hadn't. I thought you were making it up as you went along.
No, way off.
When you proved it at the end because you tied it up really well. It was obvious that you had taken time to craft that. And this week, halfway through, I was thinking, he's pulling a fast one here, but no, I'll take you at your word. I think it's you obviously wrote it.
Thanks for that. But yeah, I did. I wrote it. Obviously, I wrote it. Who could come up with that stuff on the spot? Seriously,
exactly.
It's impossible. So yeah, and it was fun to tell. It was nice to see two different spins on the story. It's just nice to see two such different franchises brought together.
And do you see there being a Dirty Dancing sequel anytime soon?
They did do a prequel, Havana Nights or something a long time ago. There's been a live show. No, I don't. And there's going to be more Doom, but Doom's not really an important story.
Do you think they'll ever cross over Dirty Dancing and Doom for real?
We can only but hope. I doubt it as well. I mean, let's be totally honest, probably not. One thing we didn't discuss this week that we did last week is fan reaction. Will there be a backlash
to our stories?
I'm the biggest Dirty Dancing fan going.
I think your one will get. I think your one will get some backlash from the watermelon community.
Yes, that's right. The allergy side of things. Mm. Yeah. What about Hispanics? Because Jose might be a Hispanic name, but I didn't specify his actual race.
Oh, you shouldn't have pointed that out, because then when people had to go at you, I didn't say he was.
I'm not going to say what he was. I'm going to honour his memory as the Space Cadet that he was.
The African American space cadet that he was.
Yeah, the Vietnamese space cadet that he was. Yeah, it was nice, fresh. I'm looking forward to the next one, which is, by the way, you could tell us.
It is F-Zero and the Flintstones.
The classic Nintendo Racer and the classic Nintendo Racer. I don't know the Flintstones. I'm only kidding. I know the Flintstones. Cartoon, Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yeah, but all that good stuff.
My daughter's really into dinosaurs actually, and she's never seen the Flintstones.
She would
probably
hate it actually.
She might.
The historical
dinosaurs aren't front and center in that show. I might change that in my story. Make them
about
stars.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So yeah, join us next week for
what's the other one?
F-Zero.
F-Zero. Dinosaurs F-Zero. Yeah. I'll probably just program a kart game based around dinosaurs. Dinosaur Planet kart racer. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'll do our story as well. Don't worry.
So yeah, join us next week for F-Zero and the Flintstones.
Please join us next week. I mean, bye.
Bye.